Hello fellow Tenno, welcome back. Today we're tackling one of the most frustrating resources in Warframe, Nitain Extract. Whether you're building Warframes, helmets, weapons, auraformers, or a bunch of other blueprints, you've probably been gated by these little white vials more times than you can count. In this video I'll show you how to get them reliably, the absolute best methods, from guaranteed to the rare secondary farms, loadout tips, where they matter, and everything you need to know so you never get stuck waiting on Nitain again. Stick around to the end for some extra efficiency tips that will save you some time. So what even is Nitain Extract? It's a rare resource used in a huge number of blueprints, especially Warframe components, things like alternate helmets, and a number of weapons, along with some of the formers like the auraformer. The big catch is its scarcity. You can't run a mission and walk out of a stack. That's why knowing the reliable sources is critical. The single best and most consistent way to obtain Nitain Extract is through Nightwave. Nora Knight, and anyone that replaces her, always has Nitain Extract as an evergreen offering. 15 credits for 5 Nitain Extract. You can buy as many as you want, limited only by how many creds you have. Just complete your daily, weekly, and elite Nightwave challenges, rank up, and stock up. This is the best method every veteran player uses, and the one that I recommend to anyone that desperately needs Nitain. Before we go over the other methods, remember to subscribe for more Warframe guides like this one. Certain missions have hidden resource caches. You need to find all 3 to roll rotation C, which has a small chance at Nitain. The best nodes to do this on are Dakata on the Kuva Fortress, Stryborg in the Void, Rasolka on Sedna, Cyprus on Pluto, Plato on Luau, and Carpo on Jupiter. In addition to this, there are some lower tier ones on Venus, Mercury, Mars, and a few other planets. However, these have less than a 1% chance when rolling rotation C to reward Nitain, so I try to avoid recommending doing them unless they are the only planets you have unlocked whilst you're trying to farm it. Bring a frame with good mobility and loot radar, such as a Zaku, Limbo, Wisp, or just some other solid speed frame like a Vault. Run the mission, hunt every single cache, extract. Expect some long dry streaks, as attempting to obtain Nitain in this way is a bit like a lottery and not a farm. There are some other methods to obtain Nitain. One of those is when the Ghoul Purge event is active on the plains of Eidolon, the final stage of Ghoul bounties, both the lower and higher tier, have roughly a 5% chance to drop one Nitain Extract. This is the best possible non-Nightwave chance to obtain Nitain. But the event only comes around every few weeks, and then it only lasts for a short amount of time. So when it's up, run the final stage as much as you can to get that Nitain quickly and easily. One final method to obtain Nitain is through Zealoid Prelate and the Wolf of Saturn bosses. Both of these have a tiny chance to obtain Nitain. It is so slim that I wouldn't recommend specifically farming these for Nitain. However, if you are running either of these bosses for anything else, you may be rewarded some. Gift of the Lotus alerts can also occasionally reward it, however they're so rare and unpredictable, it's best to not rely on them and only do them when you actually have time to and they're available. Here's some tips on how to make the process of attaining Nitain as painless as possible. Prioritise obtaining Nightwave creds, and always buy Nitain first before you buy any other flashy cosmetics, especially if you're short on Nitain. Try to keep a small stockpile of 20 to 30 so you never get blocked mid-build again waiting for more Nitain. You can even go for a larger stockpile if you need to, of over 100, because this stuff doesn't disappear. When farming caches, use Loot Detector, Thief's Wit, Animal Instinct, or some other high loot radar build so you don't miss any. When also farming for the caches, turn your audio up, because each of the caches has a little audio cue that you may have noticed with the gameplay footage prior in this video. Squad up for sabotage and exterminate missions if you want faster clears when looking for those resource caches. And a couple of points to note, resource boosters do not affect Nitain drop chances or amount rewarded, so don't waste your platinum buying them if you're hunting for Nitain. A couple of common mistakes people make when looking for Nitain is forgetting Nightwave exists. Nightwave is by far the best method to obtain this, and there's a new Nightwave season starting shortly, so it's a good time to get some quick and easy creds and get that Nitain. Hoarding creds for skins during Nightwave and other things such as your helmet blueprints or your glyphs, rather than obtaining Nitain when you desperately need it. And a lot of people spend a lot of time running those lower tier cache missions. So those are the ones on Venus, Mercury and Mars. You need to try avoid doing those because it really is not worth your time. Work on progressing through the star chart if you want to try and obtain them through caches. Now, once you've mastered the Nightwave habit, you'll never be gated by Nitain again. It's one of those resources that feels painful until you treat it as a cred sink rather than a traditional farm. Let me know in the comments what your go-to method for obtaining Nitain is, and if I've missed any, so we can let the community know together what other possibilities they have to obtain Nitain. Let me know if this guide's been helpful, and any resources you want to see next in the comments below. And finally, if you have found this guide helpful, like and subscribe for more like this. Thanks for watching.